Chapter 1. Set boundaries clearly and firmly. When interacting with disrespectful individuals, the establishment of clear and firm boundaries is crucial for safeguarding your emotional health and self-respect. While you may not have control over the actions of others, you have the power to manage your reactions to them. Setting boundaries is not merely a defensive measure, but a proactive approach to ensuring your own well-being. It involves a deliberate effort to prioritize your needs and shield yourself from harmful or toxic behaviors. The process of setting boundaries starts with identifying your personal limits. These are your non-negotiables, the aspects of your interactions with others that you are unwilling to compromise on. It is important to understand that these limits are personal and can vary widely from one person to another. What might be acceptable to someone else may not be for you, and recognizing this difference is the first step in boundary setting. Once you have a clear understanding of your limits, the next step is to communicate them assertively. Effective communication is key in boundary setting. It involves being both clear and direct, without being confrontational or aggressive. It's about stating what you need and expect in any given relationship or interaction. For example, if you find certain topics uncomfortable or inappropriate, you are entitled to express that sentiment and request a change in conversation. Practicing the art of saying no is also an essential part of this process. Many people struggle with this because they fear it might come across as rude or unkind. However, saying no is a fundamental right and can be done respectfully and firmly. It doesn't require justification or a lengthy explanation. It's about honoring your feelings and needs. Importantly, setting boundaries is not about changing others, but about changing your response to them. When you set boundaries, you're essentially teaching others how you want to be treated. This act empowers you to take control of your emotions and interactions, reducing the emotional drain that often comes from dealing with disrespectful behavior. Ultimately, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It sends a clear message that you value yourself enough to protect your mental space and peace. By doing so, you not only improve your interactions with others, but also enhance your quality of life, making room for healthier and more respectful relationships. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect, and establishing boundaries is a pivotal step toward ensuring that you are. Chapter 2. Practice assertive communication. Assertive communication is essential in establishing and maintaining respect in all your interactions. It allows you to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs directly and openly without infringing on the rights of others. This form of communication is particularly important when you are establishing boundaries or need to convey something important. To practice assertive communication effectively, start by using I statements. These statements allow you to speak from your perspective without sounding accusatory or defensive. For example, instead of saying, "You make me feel ignored," say, "I feel ignored when I'm not heard in meeting." This slight shift in phrasing can make a significant difference in how your message is received, reducing the likelihood of the listener feeling attacked and increasing the possibility of a productive conversation. Body language also plays a crucial role in assertive communication. Maintaining eye contact, standing up straight, and using a calm and clear tone of voice are all essential. These non-verbal cues reinforce the confidence behind your words, showing that you believe in what you are saying and are committed to your message. It's important to be aware of your facial expressions and gestures as well. Ensure they match the message you are trying to convey. Additionally, it is crucial to remain respectful and composed, even when the discussions become challenging. Assertive communication should not be confused with aggression. It's about balance and fairness. You're not looking to overpower the conversation, but to participate in it meaningfully. When you communicate assertively, you're not asking for permission or approval. You're sharing an equal ground where your needs and the needs of others are considered. Practicing assertive communication means also being ready to listen. Active listening involves paying full attention to the speaker, not planning your response while they are talking, but truly hearing and understanding their perspective. This fosters mutual respect and opens up dialogue for clearer understanding and resolution of conflicts. By developing your assertive communication skills, you empower yourself to be taken more seriously in both personal and professional settings. People are more likely to respect your boundaries and consider your needs when you express them clearly and confidently. Remember, the goal of assertive communication is to express your valid needs and feelings without belittling others, paving the way for honest and productive relationships. Chapter 3. Stay calm and composed. Maintaining your composure in the face of disrespect is crucial for managing difficult interactions effectively. It's easy to let emotions take over when you're treated poorly, but staying calm is key to handling such situations with grace and effectiveness. By controlling your emotional responses, you ensure that you don't escalate conflicts or create more tension. One effective technique for staying calm is the practice of mindful breathing. When confronted with a disrespectful comment or behavior, take a moment to focus on your breath. Take deep, slow breaths, counting to 10 as you inhale and exhale. This simple method helps slow down your physiological responses and provides you with the necessary pause to collect your thoughts and emotions. This pause not only prevents knee-jerk reactions, but also allows you to assess the situation more objectively. During this brief respite, assess the intent behind the disrespectful behavior. Often, individuals act disrespectfully not out of malice, but out of ignorance or their own stress and insecurity. Understanding this can make it easier to address the behavior without personal resentment or anger. Approach the situation with a problem-solving mindset, asking yourself what outcome you wish to achieve and how best you can communicate to reach that result. Furthermore, maintaining a calm demeanor helps you think more clearly and articulate your thoughts more coherently. This clarity is essential when you need to assert your boundaries or express your feelings. Articulate your response with the same level of respect you wish to receive, regardless of the other person's behavior. This approach not only upholds your dignity, but also models the behavior you expect from others. Lastly, remember that staying calm is a sign of strength, not weakness. It demonstrates that you are in control of your emotions and actions, which can often influence the other person to lower their defenses and engage more positively. By choosing to respond respectfully, you protect your self-respect and set a standard for the interaction. Staying calm and composed isn't about passive acceptance, but about actively managing the dynamics of interpersonal relationships to maintain peace and respect. Chapter 4. Don't take it personally. Experiencing disrespect can be unsettling and hurtful, but understanding that such behavior often stems from the other person's issues, be they insecurities, stresses, or biases, is crucial in maintaining your self-esteem and emotional health. Disrespectful actions are typically a reflection of the other individual's inner turmoil or shortcomings, and not a valid assessment of your character or worth. When you encounter disrespect, it's vital not to take these incidents personally. This can be challenging, especially if the disrespect feels direct and pointed. However, internalizing this negativity not only harms your self-esteem, but also skews your perception of the interaction, potentially leading to an emotionally charged and less than effective response. Instead, aim to detach yourself from the emotional aspect of the disrespect. Consider the broader context of the other person's behavior. Are they under stress? Could they be unaware of how their words affect others? Understanding these factors can help you respond more objectively. You don't need to excuse their behavior, but shifting your perspective can prevent you from feeling diminished by their actions. Maintaining your self-worth is also about reinforcing your internal validation instead of seeking approval from others. Remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments and confide in friends or colleagues who respect and support you. This reaffirmation is a powerful tool against the erosion of self-esteem that can occur when you're repeatedly faced with disrespect. Furthermore, when responding to disrespect, choose your battles wisely. Not every act of disrespect requires a confrontation. Sometimes the most effective response is to maintain your dignity by not engaging at all. This doesn't mean you're accepting poor treatment. Rather, you're choosing to not let it affect your peace of mind. Adopting a non-personal perspective helps you stay calm and composed, enabling you to handle difficult situations more effectively. You'll find yourself able to respond in ways that align with your values and maintain your integrity rather than reacting out of hurt or anger. This approach not only preserves your well-being, but also positions you as someone who is resilient and composed under pressure. Chapter 5. Avoid taking the bait. Facing disrespect can trigger an immediate impulse to defend oneself. The provocation is often intentional. The other person may indeed be trying to elicit a strong emotional reaction from you. However, engaging impulsively in these moments only serves their purposes, not yours. By refusing to take the bait, you maintain control over the situation and your emotional well-being. This chapter explores practical strategies to help you stay composed and respond appropriately when faced with provocation. The first step is to recognize when you are being provoked. Often, signs of provocation include derogatory remarks, subtle jabs, or blatant disrespect intended to unsettle you. Identifying these triggers enables you to prepare your response mindfully rather than reactively. Once you've recognized a provocative situation, the next step is to pause. This momentary break is crucial. It gives you time to breathe deeply, collect your thoughts, and assess the best course of action. Counting to 10 slowly, or even stepping away from the situation if possible, are effective ways to ensure you do not react in the heat of the moment. This pause not only helps in regaining your composure, but also in planning a more measured and effective response. When you do respond, aim to do so with clarity and assertiveness. Communicate your feelings and boundaries without aggression or submission. Use I statements to express how the behavior affects you, rather than blaming or pointing fingers. For instance, saying, "I feel disrespected when my opinions are ignored in meetings," clearly states the issue without escalating the conflict. Moreover, visualize maintaining your dignity and self-respect. Remember that by not reacting impulsively, you are not showing weakness. Rather, you are demonstrating strength and control. You are deciding that your peace of mind is more important than engaging in a potentially futile conflict. Ultimately, the goal is not just to avoid escalation, but to foster an environment where respect is mutual and communication is constructive. By refusing to take the bait, you encourage healthier interactions and set a standard for others to follow. This approach not only diffuses immediate tensions but also builds a foundation for more respectful and meaningful relationships in the future. Chapter 6. Maintain a healthy distance. Navigating interactions with disrespectful people requires tact and a focus on self-care, making it essential to maintain a healthy distance. This strategic withdrawal is not about severing all ties, but about establishing a protective perimeter that safeguards your emotional and mental well-being. Such a stance helps manage the stress and negativity that often accompany interactions with difficult individuals. To effectively maintain this healthy distance, you first need to identify the need for boundaries. Recognize the signs when interactions begin to drain your energy or cause undue stress. Once these signs are acknowledged, you can start implementing measures to protect yourself. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting people out of your life entirely. Instead, it involves creating a buffer zone that limits your exposure to potentially harmful interactions. Limiting your interactions can be a practical first step. This may mean choosing not to engage unless necessary or shortening the duration of your interactions with the person in question. It's about quality, not quantity. Ensuring the interactions you do have are as constructive as possible without allowing them to overrun your emotional boundaries. Another useful approach is to consciously avoid topics of conversation that you know tend to escalate into disputes or negative exchanges. By steering clear of known triggers, you can keep conversations neutral and more manageable, which helps in maintaining a professional or courteous demeanor. Taking breaks from communication is also a vital aspect of maintaining distance. When you feel overwhelmed or sense that an interaction is heading in a negative direction, give yourself permission to step back. This could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths to regain your composure, or it might involve physically removing yourself from a stressful environment until you are better able to handle the situation. Clear communication of your boundaries is crucial. Be explicit about what behaviors you find unacceptable and let others know how you prefer to be treated. Articulating your boundaries not only clarifies your expectations but also empowers you to enforce them consistently. By implementing these strategies, you effectively manage how much emotional and psychological impact others have on you. Maintaining a healthy distance is not an act of hostility but a self-respectful practice that allows you to interact with others on your own terms. It's a proactive measure that underlines the fact that while you may not control others' behaviors, you have full authority over how you engage with them, ensuring that you prioritize your well-being and peace of mind. Chapter 7. Develop a growth mindset. Embracing a growth mindset is transformative, especially when navigating the challenges posed by disrespectful individuals. This approach allows you to shift from feeling victimized to viewing each encounter as a catalyst for personal development and resilience. By recognizing that another person's disrespectful behavior is a reflection of their own issues rather than a valuation of your worth, you can maintain control over your reactions and preserve your self-esteem. A growth mindset encourages you to ask yourself constructive questions like, "What can I learn from this situation?" or "How can I grow as a person from this encounter?" Such questions are not about justifying the other person's behavior, but about extracting valuable lessons from difficult experiences. For instance, encountering disrespect might teach you how to communicate more effectively, set boundaries more firmly, or even develop thicker skin against criticism. Taking ownership of your emotional responses is a key component of a growth mindset. Instead of reacting impulsively or with hurt, you learn to respond with intention and reflection. This means acknowledging your initial emotional reactions, frustration, anger, sadness, and then deciding how best to respond in a way that aligns with your personal growth and values. By doing so, you prevent external behaviors from dictating your internal peace. Moreover, this mindset facilitates resilience. It helps you to not only bounce back from negative experiences, but also to use them as stepping stones for self-improvement. Each challenge becomes a moment of learning and an opportunity to enhance your emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Implementing a growth mindset also involves embracing change and flexibility in your perceptions. It requires recognizing that personal growth is an ongoing process and that your ability to handle disrespect gracefully improves with practice and persistence. Each respectful response and every boundary set strengthens your character and reinforces your self-respect. Ultimately, a growth mindset equips you with confidence and poise, enabling you to navigate through life's difficulties more effectively. It promotes a proactive rather than reactive approach to challenges, empowering you to focus on your growth and maintaining dignity regardless of others' behavior. Through this mindset, you transform potential negative experiences into opportunities for enhancing your personal development. Chapter 8. Focus on what you can control. In dealing with disrespectful behavior, it's essential to direct your energy towards aspects of the situation that are within your control. Realizing that you cannot change how others behave, but can influence your own reactions, is a powerful shift in perspective that can significantly improve how you handle difficult interactions. This chapter explores how focusing on your responses rather than attempting to control the behavior of others empowers you. When someone acts disrespectfully, the instinct might be to try and change their behavior or make them see the error of their ways. However, this often proves futile and can lead to further frustration and emotional drain. Instead, concentrate on managing your own emotions and responses. This starts with recognizing your immediate emotional reaction and choosing to take a step back instead of engaging impulsively. For example, when faced with rudeness, you might feel the urge to respond in kind, but doing so only escalates the situation. Taking a deep breath, counting to 10, or excusing yourself from the environment can help you regain composure and assess the best course of action. This mindful approach allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. By focusing on your behavior, you retain control over the interaction's outcome to a greater extent. It's about shifting from a reactive posture to a proactive one. Ask yourself, what response will best serve my needs and respect my values? This could mean addressing the disrespect directly and calmly, setting a firm boundary, or choosing to disengage altogether. Practicing this level of self-control and mindfulness in responses leads to greater confidence and personal power. You start to trust more in your ability to handle challenging situations without compromising your integrity or well-being. Each respectful and considered response not only diffuses potential conflicts, but also reinforces your self-respect and the respect you command from others. Moreover, by focusing on what you can control, you minimize the emotional impact disrespectful interactions have on you. You learn to detach from negativity, preserving your mental health and focusing on more positive aspects of your life and relationships. This controlled approach is not about passivity. It's about actively choosing how you engage with the world in a way that aligns with your values and sense of self. Chapter 9. Use I statements effectively. Effective communication is vital when dealing with disrespectful behavior, and using I statements is a key technique in asserting yourself without escalating conflict. This method allows you to express your feelings and experiences directly, taking ownership of your emotions and reducing the likelihood of defensive reactions from others. I statements help you articulate how you feel in a manner that is clear and focused on your perspective rather than accusatory. This approach shifts the conversation from blame to understanding, which can facilitate a more productive and respectful dialogue. For instance, saying, "I feel overlooked when my ideas are not acknowledged in meetings," instead of, "You never listen to me," invites a conversation about your feelings without making the other person feel attacked. This subtle shift in phrasing can make a significant difference in how your message is received and responded to. By using I statements, you emphasize your own feelings and needs, which is crucial in settings where emotions might otherwise cloud the discussion. It allows you to express dissatisfaction or discomfort while still maintaining respect for the other person's perspective. This method not only conveys your feelings but also models the kind of respectful communication you expect in return. It sets a tone that discourages disrespect and promotes understanding. Furthermore, I statements encourage self-reflection and responsibility for one's feelings and actions. They help you clarify for yourself what you are feeling and why before you speak, which can lead to greater self-awareness and more precise communication. This introspection can be particularly beneficial in ongoing relationships, whether professional or personal, by fostering a culture of open, honest communication. Implementing I statements effectively requires practice and patience. It involves being mindful of your language during conversations and resisting the urge to respond emotionally. With consistency, this communication style can transform your interactions, making them more likely to result in positive outcomes and less likely to escalate into conflicts. Overall, using I statements is not about sidestepping conflict. Rather, it's about engaging in conflict constructively. This approach allows you to express yourself assertively and respectfully, ensuring that your voice is heard without compromising the dignity of the conversation. Chapter 10. Don't engage in arguments. When confronted with disrespectful individuals, it's often their tactic to draw you into arguments to validate their behavior and feed their desire for conflict. Recognizing this can empower you to choose a more effective response that conserves your energy and upholds your dignity. Engaging in arguments with someone who lacks respect for you is rarely productive and can lead to increased frustration and emotional exhaustion. The key to handling these situations is not giving the provocateur the reaction they seek. When tempted to engage in a dispute, remember that this is precisely the outcome they are hoping for, a chance to disrupt your emotional balance and perhaps even portray you as the aggressor or equally unreasonable. Instead, adopt a strategy of controlled response. Taking a moment to breathe deeply, counting to 10, or even excusing yourself from the situation helps maintain your composure and ensures that you don't respond impulsively. Staying calm and collected in the face of provocation presents a clear message. Their attempts to unsettle you will not succeed. This approach does not mean you are ignoring the issue or letting them get away with disrespectful behavior. Rather, it signifies that you are choosing how and when to engage, which is on your terms and not theirs. Silence in this context can indeed be a powerful response. It demonstrates that you do not deem the provocation worthy of your time or energy. Moreover, this strategy allows you to maintain control over your emotions, preserving your mental health and self-respect. By not engaging in fruitless arguments, you prevent the situation from escalating and becoming more harmful. It also sets a boundary for the other person, indicating that their disrespectful behavior will not elicit the desired response. In practice, this approach means being prepared to walk away from escalating conflicts and knowing when a conversation is no longer constructive. Always keep in mind that you deserve respect, and maintaining your poise helps reinforce your right to be treated well. It's about acknowledging that while you cannot control another person's behavior, you can certainly control your reaction to it. This empowers you to navigate interactions more strategically, ensuring that you remain the master of your emotions and actions. Chapter 11. Show, don't tell. In dealing with disrespectful behavior, actions often prove more effective than words. Disrespectful individuals may challenge your patience and test your boundaries, but responding through clear, consistent actions rather than verbal admonishments can be a more powerful way to assert your stance and maintain your dignity. This approach not only conserves your energy, but also underscores your message without escalating conflict. When you opt to show, don't tell, you take a pragmatic approach to managing difficult interactions. This means implementing and adhering to your boundaries through your behavior. For example, if a colleague is habitually late to meetings, Reiterating the importance of punctuality might have little effect. Instead, starting the meeting on time, regardless of their presence, is a direct and impactful response. This action demonstrates your commitment to the schedule and shows the latecomer that their behavior has consequences, specifically missing out on important discussions or decisions. This method extends beyond professional scenarios. In personal relationships, if someone repeatedly disrespects your space or time, choose to engage with them only when they adhere to the agreed terms. By doing so, you are not engaging in a verbal back and forth, but are instead setting a precedent about what is acceptable in your interactions. Employing this strategy requires consistency. The first few instances may not bring immediate change, but persistence shows that you are serious about your boundaries and expectations. Consistency in your actions sends a clear, unambiguous message about what you will and will not tolerate. Additionally, this approach helps to depersonalize conflicts by removing the emotional, reactive component often fueled by disrespectful exchanges. It shifts the focus from a confrontational dispute to a straightforward demonstration of consequences. This not only prevents the escalation of tension, but also positions you as someone who is measured, respectful, and principled, regardless of how others choose to act. Ultimately, showing rather than telling is about embodying the respect you seek in others. It's a proactive form of communication that asserts your values and boundaries more effectively than words alone could convey. By adopting this strategy, you enhance your ability to manage disrespect with grace and authority, reinforcing your self-respect while potentially fostering a more respectful environment around you. Chapter 12. Use non-confrontational language. Handling disrespectful interactions effectively often involves careful choice of words. By adopting non-confrontational language, you can significantly reduce the likelihood of escalating a tense situation. This approach allows you to express your feelings and set boundaries without inflaming the conflict, paving the way for more constructive outcomes. Non-confrontational language focuses on expressing your own experiences and feelings rather than attributing blame or intent to the other person. This strategy is based on the use of I statements, which are a crucial tool in maintaining a calm and respectful tone during difficult conversations. For instance, saying, "I feel ignored when you speak over me during our discussions," provides a clear expression of your feelings and specifies the behavior that is causing distress, without directly accusing or criticizing the other person. Using I statements helps keep the conversation centered on resolving the issue at hand, rather than devolving into mutual accusations. It personalizes your side of the conversation, making it harder for the other person to dismiss your concerns without directly addressing them. This method also encourages the other person to see the situation from your perspective, which can foster empathy and understanding. Moreover, non-confrontational language includes actively listening to the other person's point of view. This does not mean you agree with them or accept their behavior, but it demonstrates respect and willingness to understand their position. By modeling the communication style you prefer, you set a standard for the interaction and make it more likely that they will reciprocate in kind. Additionally, it's important to avoid generalizations and accusations, which can lead to defensiveness and shut down productive dialogue. Phrases like, "you always," or "you never," are accusatory and often exaggerate the situation, making rational discussion more difficult. Instead, focus on specific instances or actions that exemplify the disrespectful behavior and address those directly. Implementing non-confrontational language is not about suppressing your feelings or compromising your values, but about choosing a communication style that maximizes the likelihood of a positive resolution. By responding with calm, clearly articulated statements, you demonstrate maturity and control over the situation, which can help de-escalate conflict and lead to more respectful interactions. This thoughtful approach can transform potentially volatile exchanges into opportunities for growth and understanding. Chapter 13. Know when to walk away. Recognizing when to disengage from interactions that consistently disrespect your boundaries is crucial for maintaining your emotional well-being. There are moments when, despite your best efforts to communicate effectively and set clear boundaries, the other party remains unresponsive or continues their disrespectful behavior. In such cases, knowing when to walk away is not just an option but a necessary step to protect your mental health and dignity. Walking away should be seen as an act of self-respect rather than defeat. It signifies your understanding that you deserve a certain level of respect and are prepared to remove yourself from situations where this is not possible. This decision is particularly important in repetitive cycles of disrespect, where there is clear evidence that the situation is unlikely to improve. Taking the step to walk away involves several key considerations. First, ensure that you have made a genuine effort to resolve the issue through communication and boundary setting. If these attempts have been met with disregard or hostility, assess the impact of the ongoing disrespect on your life. If it's draining your energy and affecting your quality of life, it's time to seriously consider withdrawal. Walking away is a powerful choice that involves actively choosing where to invest your emotional energy. It is about prioritizing your mental health and seeking out relationships and environments that offer mutual respect and positive interaction. Physically removing yourself from a toxic scenario is a testament to your self-worth. The act itself should be handled with as much dignity and calmness as possible. Inform the other person of your decision in a straightforward and respectful manner, without anger or bitterness. For instance, you might say, "I feel my concerns are not being acknowledged, and this dynamic is not healthy for me. I need to step back from this relationship." Ultimately, walking away is not just about ending negative interactions, but about opening up space in your life for more fulfilling connections. It reaffirms your values and the importance of being treated with respect. It's a step towards surrounding yourself with people who support and uplift you, and it's a profound reminder that you are in control of your own happiness and well-being. Chapter 14. Seek support from others. When confronted with disrespect, having a strong support system can be a pivotal element in preserving your well-being and resilience. Navigating interactions with someone who consistently undermines you can be draining and isolating. However, reaching out to friends, family, or colleagues who understand and support you can transform the experience, providing the emotional strength and perspective needed to handle challenging situations effectively. Support from others serves multiple purposes in the context of dealing with disrespectful individuals. First, it offers emotional validation. Sharing your feelings and experiences with supportive individuals reassures you that your reactions are justified and that you are not alone in facing these challenges. This validation is crucial as it helps maintain your self-esteem and can prevent the internalization of negative interactions. Second, a support network can provide practical advice and strategies for dealing with difficult people. Whether it's discussing tactics to set clearer boundaries or exploring ways to communicate more effectively, input from others can offer new perspectives and solutions that might not have occurred to you. For example, a colleague might share a similar experience and the steps they took to address it, which could be adapted to your situation. Additionally, seeking support can involve more than just emotional and advisory aspects. It can also mean seeking professional help if the situation warrants it. For instance, In a workplace setting, this could involve talking to a supervisor or human resources to formally address ongoing disrespect, ensuring that the situation is handled appropriately and with official oversight. Having a robust support network also reinforces your decisions and actions, especially when you need to make tough choices, such as distancing yourself from the disrespectful individual or taking formal actions against them. Knowing you have people who will back your decisions can bolster your confidence and reduce the stress associated with such decisions. In summary, never underestimate the power of community and connection. Building and maintaining strong, supportive relationships are not just beneficial for handling immediate problems, but also contribute to long-term emotional health and career resilience. Encourage open communication with your support network and remember that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. It acknowledges your worth and reinforces your right to be treated with respect and dignity in all areas of life. Chapter 15. Practice self-care and self-love. In the face of disrespect and negativity, prioritizing your self-care and self-love is not just beneficial, it's essential for maintaining your mental and emotional resilience. Dealing with challenging interactions can be draining, making it all the more important to replenish your inner resources through thoughtful self-care practices. This chapter delves into why self-care is crucial and how it can effectively support you in handling difficult relationships. Self-care involves a variety of practices that nurture your physical, mental, and emotional health. Firstly, ensuring you get adequate rest is fundamental. Sleep plays a critical role in emotional regulation and decision-making. Without enough rest, you're more susceptible to stress and less able to handle interpersonal conflicts effectively. Similarly, nourishing your body with healthy foods and engaging in regular physical activity boosts your energy levels and produces endorphins, which can improve your mood and reduce feelings of depression and anxiety. Beyond physical health, engaging in activities that promote relaxation and happiness is vital. This might include hobbies and interests that distract from the stresses of daily life and provide a sense of fulfillment and joy. Activities such as reading, meditation, yoga, or spending time in nature can significantly contribute to your emotional well-being. These practices not only help you relax but also enhance your self-awareness and emotional resilience, empowering you to handle disrespectful behavior more effectively. Moreover, practicing self-love is an integral part of self-care. This means treating yourself with kindness and compassion and recognizing your worth and value. Reminding yourself that you deserve respect and kindness can help fortify you against the negative impacts of disrespect. Self-love encourages a positive self-image and helps you maintain a healthy perspective on your interactions with others. Prioritizing self-care and self-love also involves setting boundaries around what you will and will not tolerate from others. By establishing clear boundaries, you reinforce your self-respect and signal to others how you expect to be treated. This not only protects you from potential disrespect, but also teaches others how to interact with you appropriately. In summary, integrating self-care and self-love into your daily life is not an indulgence but a necessity for anyone navigating the complexities of interpersonal relationships. By taking care of yourself, you ensure that you are better equipped to handle stress and negativity, leading to a more balanced, healthy, and fulfilling life. This self-focused care creates a strong foundation from which you can interact with others confidently and peacefully, knowing that you are looking after your most important asset, yourself. Chapter 16. Don't internalize their behavior. After establishing a routine of self-care and self-love, the next crucial step in dealing with disrespectful people is to ensure that you do not internalize their behavior. Understanding that the disrespect directed towards you is often a reflection of the other person's own issues, rather than a judgment of your value, is key to maintaining your emotional health. Disrespectful behavior can stem from a variety of sources in someone's life, including personal insecurities, past traumas, or general dissatisfaction with their own circumstances. These factors may cause them to project negativity onto others. It's important to recognize this dynamic because it helps you to depersonalize the disrespectful actions and comments, seeing them as external to your self-worth, rather than as intrinsic truths about who you are. To avoid internalizing negativity, start by reinforcing your self-position and self-esteem. Affirmations, positive self-talk, and surrounding yourself with positive influences can fortify your mental and emotional defenses against external negativity. For example, after a negative interaction, you might remind yourself of your strengths and achievements, or engage in a favorite activity that boosts your mood and self-respect. Additionally, maintaining strong emotional boundaries is crucial. These boundaries help you define what you are and are not willing to accept from others, allowing you to detach emotionally from the harmful behaviors of others. When someone disrespects you, instead of absorbing their negativity, you can acknowledge that their behavior is inappropriate and choose a response that aligns with your self-respect. Practicing assertive communication is also vital. When you communicate your feelings and needs clearly, without aggression or passivity, you not only protect your self-esteem, but also instruct others on how they should treat you. For instance, if someone consistently speaks to you in a demeaning tone, an assertive response might be, "I feel disrespected when spoken to in that tone, and would appreciate more considerate communication." Ultimately, by choosing not to internalize disrespect, you conserve your emotional energy and maintain your self-worth. This not only prevents the erosion of your self-esteem, but also positions you to respond to challenges from a place of strength and clarity. Remember, your response to disrespect can empower you, helping you to navigate and mitigate its impact on your life effectively. Chapter 17. Focus on your own goals and values. Confronting disrespect can often derail your emotional equilibrium, but by focusing on your personal goals and values, you can maintain direction and stability. This chapter emphasizes the importance of redirecting your energy away from the negativity of disrespectful individuals and towards what truly enriches your life, your ambitions, and core principles. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to become engulfed in the immediate emotions that such interactions provoke. However, the key to not only surviving but thriving in these situations is to keep a firm eye on your long-term aspirations and the values that define you. This not only helps in mitigating the impact of the negativity, but also reinforces your sense of self, which is crucial in maintaining confidence and purpose. Start by clearly defining what your goals are, whether they are career-oriented, personal growth, or relationship-fronting. Understanding your objectives helps you prioritize your actions and responses. For instance, if one of your core values is respect, then fostering environments and relationships that align with this value becomes a priority. When faced with disrespect, you can then choose responses that reinforce this value, such as calmly stating your need for respectful communication or choosing to disengage from consistently toxic interactions. Moreover, anchoring yourself to your goals and values acts as a guide through potential distractions. Disrespectful behavior can sidetrack you from your progress. However, when you are clear about where your priorities lie, it becomes easier to navigate away from negative influences and maintain your trajectory. Writing down your goals and values can also serve as a constant reminder of what you are striving towards. Place these reminders where you can see them daily to help keep your focus sharp and aligned with your true intentions. This visual cue serves as your North Star, keeping you oriented no matter the chaos around you. Implementing this focus is not just about ignoring disrespect, but transforming it into an opportunity for reaffirmation of your own path. Each time you choose to focus on your goals instead of someone else's negativity, you empower yourself. This mindset shift doesn't just help in dealing with disrespectful people, it enhances your overall resilience, making you more capable of handling various adversities. By consistently focusing on what matters most, you solidify your identity and ensure that external behaviors do not disturb your internal peace and ambitions. Chapter 18. Use humor to diffuse tension. Incorporating humor into interactions with disrespectful individuals can be an effective way to alleviate tension and reclaim control of the situation. While it's natural to respond with anger or defensiveness when faced with rudeness or condescension, humor offers an alternative that can lighten the mood and shift the dynamic of the encounter. This chapter explores how to use humor strategically to manage and mitigate the effects of disrespect. Using humor in tense situations requires a delicate balance. The goal is not to mock or belittle the other person, but to introduce a lighthearted element that can diffuse the immediate tension. For example, if someone makes a snide remark about your work, responding with a witty comment that acknowledges the absurdity or irony of the situation can transform a potentially hostile exchange into a moment of levity. This not only prevents the situation from escalating, but also demonstrates your ability to remain composed under pressure. Humor can act as a psychological buffer against the negativity of disrespect. By choosing to laugh off a rude comment or making a joke in response, you detach yourself from the emotional impact of the attack. This helps maintain your dignity and shows that you are not easily rattled by others' attempts to undermine you. Additionally, it sends a message that while you recognize the attempt at disrespect, you are not willing to engage in a confrontational manner. Moreover, humor can serve as a powerful tool for reasserting control in a conversation. It allows you to steer the interaction in a direction that is less hostile and more congenial. Often, injecting humor can catch the disrespectful person off guard and lead them to reassess their approach, especially if they see that their behavior isn't affecting you in the way they intended. However, it's important to gauge when humor is appropriate and when it might be misinterpreted or escalate the situation further. The use of humor should be context-sensitive, taking into account the environment, the relationship with the person involved, and the nature of the disrespect. When used wisely, humor is not just a defense mechanism, but a proactive strategy that enhances communication and fosters a more positive interaction environment. Ultimately, incorporating humor into responses to disrespect can be a subtle yet powerful way to handle difficult situations. It encourages a shift from a potentially negative and harmful atmosphere to one that is lighter and more bearable, allowing you to navigate the challenge with grace and resilience. Chapter 19. Set consequences for disrespect. Establishing and enforcing consequences for disrespectful behavior is a critical component of maintaining your self-respect and emotional well-being. When interactions become detrimental to your mental health, it's necessary to assert clear boundaries. This chapter delves into how to effectively identify unacceptable behaviors, communicate your limits, and set enforceable consequences, ensuring that your self-worth is preserved. To start, it is crucial to define what types of behavior you find disrespectful and unacceptable. This might include interruptions when you are speaking, derogatory comments, or any form of dismissive behavior. Being specific about what you will not tolerate helps clarify your boundaries, not just to others, but to yourself as well. Once these boundaries are identified, the next step is to communicate them clearly to the person involved. This communication should be direct and assertive, expressing your needs without ambiguity. For instance, you might say, "I find it disrespectful when I am interrupted during meetings. If this continues, I will need to address the issue with HR." Or consider alternative ways to conduct these meetings where my points can be fully heard. This sets a clear expectation and outlines the consequences for ignoring these expectations. It is essential that the consequences you set are reasonable and enforceable. Unrealistic threats or consequences that you are unwilling or unable to enforce can undermine your credibility and weaken your position. Therefore, choose consequences that are within your control and proportional to the disrespect shown. If possible, these should also be actionable immediately after the disrespectful behavior occurs, providing a direct link between the action and its repercussions. Setting consequences is not about exerting control or being aggressive. Rather, it's about protecting your mental space and ensuring that you are treated with the respect you deserve. This proactive stance demonstrates self-respect and signals to others that their disrespectful behavior will have tangible repercussions. Moreover, consistently enforcing these consequences is key to their effectiveness. This consistency sends a powerful message that you are serious about your boundaries and that disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. Over time, this will help to foster an environment of mutual respect and may deter future instances of disrespect. In conclusion, setting and enforcing consequences for disrespectful behavior is an empowering action that protects your emotional health and upholds your dignity. By taking these steps, you not only advocate for yourself but also contribute to creating a more respectful and considerate interaction space for everyone involved. Chapter 20. Learn to say no politely. Mastering the art of saying no is a crucial skill in managing your time, preserving your well-being, and maintaining healthy boundaries. Often, the difficulty in saying no stems from a fear of disappointing others or facing conflict. However, it is essential to recognize that saying no is a necessary part of personal and professional growth. This chapter provides strategies on how to refuse requests politely and effectively, ensuring you do not overcommit or compromise your own needs. Firstly, understanding that no is a complete sentence is vital. It is a full response that does not inherently require justification or an elaborate explanation. However, in many social and professional contexts, providing a brief and sincere explanation can help soften the refusal, making it easier for others to accept and less likely for you to feel guilty. When you do choose to explain your no, keep it simple and direct. For instance, if asked to take on additional responsibilities at work when you are already at capacity, a response such as, "I appreciate your confidence in me, but I'm currently focused on my existing commitments and want to ensure I maintain the quality of my work," effectively communicates your decision and the reasoning behind it, without closing the door on future opportunities. Practicing how to say no can also involve offering alternatives. For example, if declining an invitation to a social event due to prior commitments, you might say, "I can't make it this time, but please keep me in mind for the next one." This lets the other person know that while you're unavailable now, you value the relationship and are interested in future engagements. Furthermore, reinforcing your no with assertive but polite body language and tone is important. Maintaining eye contact, using a firm but friendly tone, and employing open, non-defensive body language can convey confidence and sincerity in your response. Finally, remember that saying no allows you to say yes to things that are more aligned with your goals and values. It helps manage your energy and keeps you from becoming overwhelmed, which is essential for long-term productivity and happiness. By learning to say no politely, you not only protect your time and energy, but but also build respect for your boundaries. This not only benefits you but also sets a clear standard of mutual respect in your relationships. Chapter 21. Cultivate empathy without taking on their emotions. Handling disrespectful behavior effectively often requires a delicate balance between empathy and emotional detachment. Empathy allows you to understand another person's perspective and motivations without necessarily agreeing with or absorbing their emotional state. This chapter explores how to cultivate empathy in challenging interactions while safeguarding your own emotional well-being. When confronted with disrespect, it's natural to react emotionally. However, stepping back and asking yourself why the person is behaving in a particular way can provide invaluable insights. Consider the broader context of their actions. Perhaps they are under stress, feeling threatened, or struggling with personal issues. Understanding these factors can help you respond more compassionately and less defensively. Empathy involves seeing beyond the surface behavior and recognizing the human emotions driving it. For example, if a coworker snaps at you instead of snapping back or internalizing their negativity, a moment of empathy can prompt a calmer, more measured response, such as, "It seems like you're really stressed. Is there something specific that's bothering you?" This approach does not excuse their disrespectful behavior, but acknowledges their struggle, which can diffuse potential conflict and lead to a more constructive interaction. However, while empathy is a powerful tool, it is crucial to maintain a boundary that prevents you from taking on the other person's emotional baggage. This can be achieved by recognizing your emotional responses and consciously choosing not to let another's negativity influence your feelings. Techniques such as mindful breathing or briefly stepping away from the situation can help maintain this boundary, ensuring that you don't get overwhelmed by emotions that aren't yours. Additionally, it's important to remember that empathy is not about solving the other person's problems, but about understanding their perspective to better navigate the interaction. This understanding can inform a more effective communication strategy, helping you to address the root cause of the disrespect rather than just the symptoms. By cultivating empathy with emotional boundaries, you not only enhance your ability to handle disrespectful behavior more effectively, but also maintain your emotional equilibrium. This skill not only improves interpersonal relationships, but also contributes to a healthier, more respectful work environment or social setting. Ultimately, empathy equipped with boundaries empowers you to respond thoughtfully, preserving both your dignity and that of others involved. You've survived the gauntlet of disrespect and emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you've transformed the fiery darts of others' disrespect into a shield of self-awareness and confidence. Remember, you can't control the winds of others' behavior, but you can adjust your sails to navigate the choppy waters of disrespect. By mastering these 21 strategies, you'll chart a course for self-respect, and no one will ever be able to dim the lighthouse of your self-worth again.